Hello everyone, I'm your host Thomas28 and welcome back to Cryogenic Simulation. Now we find ourselves here in the lunar plane because I need to hunt some illagers so we can actually progress in the pack. So I've been doing a lot of work off camera, mostly setting up the blood LP thingamabob because we need to get 1 million LP and it looks like we're almost there. It's been taken actually not too long. Once you build the digital agonizer, it's actually pretty easy to get this much LP in a pretty short amount of time. It actually only took, I think, like 30 minutes to get like 10,000 now to 1 million using it, which is pretty good. Now the next step is going to take gathering some, what's the word here? I need this thing. Illager. This thing, the root of all evil, which is from the self-aware trial keystone from the Illager. And we're going to need it to craft the Midnight Idol and progress through this chapter. So I'm here in the lunar plane, we're going to hunt these guys. The only way you can get the self-aware one is from the Illagers in the lunar plane, so I had to come here. And we're pretty well equipped. I finally upgraded the armor with the enchantments, so we should be pretty invincible. It is dark in here though. And there we go. Self-aware tier completed. Now we can get out of here. See, we have tons of totems. There's even more. I left them in the chest in there. But we should be good to go. And our blood LP network is now at 1 million LP. Now, I think the only way I can make it higher, blood orb, is I currently have the master. We need the archmage to go to 10 million, which will take the tier 5 altar, and another infused radiant star. What does it take to make the biggest one, though? Not actually sure. Is there anything like specifically required that I can't do right now? Oh. Okay, that's not too bad. It's just 4 beacons and then more blank runes. And then beacons are just more of those, right? Beacon. Yeah, more of these. So it's gonna be... So it's pretty annoying making the resonating gems, but the rest of it is really easy. Okay. So I think I'll do that later though. I have stuff we can accomplish right now, so let's head back into the portal. Now if we come out over here, we can see I added more stuff to our Britannia setup. Got a little bit of automation going. So you can see I have a vacuumulator. This guy is filtered, and that's the wrong thing. Let me move this. He's filtered to only pick up empty mana tablets. So the empty mana tablets get picked up out of the pools, they get put into the chest, they get refilled with mana, and then redumped back into the pools. Then I have a couple sparks that are transferring the mana all around the place, and our portal to Alfheim to do the Elven trade, because we're going to need some of that in order to craft the highly irradiated magical core. It's going to take Terrasteel, Elementium, and Dragonstone, all of which take, you know, these two take Elven trade. This one is just very expensive. Each ingot of Terrasteel is half a mana pool. So to craft a full block, you need, what is that, 4.5? Yeah, 4.5 mana pools worth of mana, which is like 4 stacks of liquid primal mana, which is honestly not too expensive. Now that we can just, generate it from the midnight. And here's the setup for, is this correct? I feel like I'm missing a block here, right? Let's see, where's my thingamabob? Ritual Diviner Dusk. Let's see. I can't really tell. I mean, it didn't add anything else. I mean, it looks about right. Anyways, let me deposit all of this stuff, and I'll double check it. Because I thought I finished building it, but now that I'm looking at it, it does look a bit off. Okay, it was more broken than I thought. It's hard to tell though, like when I was doing it, because I can't look up. I can only look at the ritual stone to automatically place them. But turns out if I just kept holding right click, eventually the particles will stop. So now if we take this, rush of energy flows, throw in the block of mono diamond, throw in the block of mono diamond, it gets consumed. Now if we back up, it should work to summon the meteor. Okay, so I made a good choice in backing it up, because that was actually way bigger than I thought. And it destroys the ritual stones. Well, that's really annoying, does it? Oh, and it makes a hole down here too. Huh. Okay, well that's funny. I'm gonna need to do something about that. Huh. I wonder, how do people automate this then? Because I could have sworn I've seen people that play like GregTech New Horizons have this automated. Do they do something to make it so the ritual stone doesn't break? Because this didn't mention anything about doing so, just that it's very volatile. But it should yield enough of the ores we need to make the highly irradiated magical core, because from this meteor, we need to make a block of platinum, a block of iridium, and a block of uranium. So, I'm going to grab some cobblestone, and we should be able to get mining on this thing. I just need to build a little base for the floor here. Actually, I'll use sandstone, because we have 14,000 sand. So let's see how much of this we can get. Okay, just one of them. Does not return everything. But if I just break this, why is it not doing the ultimine? Oh, it is doing the ultimine. Just not doing it very efficiently. Oh, there it goes. It wasn't really working on the uranium for some reason. Alright, so all in all, we obtained... How much is this? We got 5 stacks of iridium, 5 stacks of uranium, well, actually 4 stacks of uranium, and 3 and almost another stack of platinum. So that should be enough to make our blocks, since we only need 9. So I'm going to go ahead, throw them into the induction smelter, and it should start smelting it. Nice. That's going to double our output. So now, that's all of these blocks done, all of these blocks. Well, I need to craft these ones, but they're technically done. I have the raw version. We need a couple of runes, and then we can make the highly irradiated magical core, which is going to be needed in order to make the radioactive magical portal block, which will take some miasma surface, some more blocks of uranium, a demonic slate, dark pearl, and bones of the damned. Now, of course, the bones of the damned aren't too easy to come by. Luckily, we can make them ourselves. Artificial version, not home... what's the word? I was going to say homegrown. Not free-range bones of the damned. We're just going to make them ourselves. So we go ahead and go to Cryogenic Simulation, make the slate ossuary. And let's see, this is a good spot because it won't get damaged. And this is actually the back. The front is over here. So this should be a fine spot for it next to the blood magic altar. Let's go ahead, activate our printer, and place all the blocks. And why is it not placing this torch? Bit funky. And why am I missing some items? And there we go. After a little bit of troubleshooting, it's working. I guess the issue is like one of the torches was placed here instead of here, which made it not work. It's a little finicky. But now using this guy, we can use the slate ossuary to produce the bones of the damned. It can also produce our slates for way cheaper than we did it before, which is really nice. It's a lot easier to automate this machine instead of trying to automate it, like that. It does work regardless, it's just a little annoying. Now to link it to my blood network, I should be able to just take one of my prior orbs, just right click this, like that, to put the orb inside. And it does work. So now we should be able to make the things, but we need to just make the bones of the damned, which is going to take 64 life essence marrow, a stack of skeleton skulls, a stack of wither skeleton skulls, a stack of nocturnal powder, 16 demonic slate, 12 veiled rifter eyes, 4 weak blood shards, 6 runes of wrath, and 6 runes of pride. All pretty easy, but what is life essence? Life essence is just take a bone, mix it with 3000 LP, and you get life essence marrow. So not too bad. Yeah, we're already at 1,000,000 again, which is pretty nice. And this is off a single digital mob agonizer. I threw in a stack of corrupted glitch hearts because this is the best way to do it. What is this? Alter... Oh, so if you add sacrifice runes, you even get more out of this. Because the way I was doing it when I looked at it was... Where is it? You have to click U on this. There it is. I saw that the glitch heart lasts for 100 operations at a 10x multiplier, and just thought, so if I just grind out some simulations, you can get a stack of these pretty easily, but I can actually further multiply that with sacrifice runes. So we can get LP even faster. That's crazy. Now, we should have access to a bunch of bones from how many skeletons I've been fighting. There we go. Bones. Now if we throw those into the item input hatch, it'll start turning them into life essence marrow. And we need a stack of these, right? Yes, 1 stack. Then we also need the skulls, which we can make from pristine skeleton matter. The other one can also be made, I probably should have saved this, bones of the damned. There we go. So nocturnal powder, easy. The runes of pride and wrath are easy, just a little, it's going to take a little bit of time because we have to wait for the mana to transfer. But those are done. Demonic slate, easy. Weak blood shards, easy. Veil Drifter Eyes already have it, so making the Bones of the Damned will be pretty easy. Then we just need to make the highly irradiated magical core. So if I take a look at our AE system, we should have access to uranium. That's the wrong thing. Uranium. 500 of it. Perfect. Let's make a couple of these. We need... what's the other one? Ingot. If I check ingots, yep. Wait, was it platinum? Platinum and iridium, that's it. Platinum. And iridium. Those are done. Now we just have to get the blocks of Terrasteel, Elementium, and Dragonstone, along with the runes, and we can make the highly irradiated magical core. So first things first, let's go ahead and craft this guy. So grab all of this. We need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And why doesn't this work? Yeah, I forgot. That's what happened. Okay, I didn't think of that. I'm gonna have to redo this later. There we go. If I right click it, it functions. There we go. So what happened before is I think it's this one. Rune of Pride. Is it this one? Oh, I didn't filter it for a Rune of Pride. No, but it's supposed to be whitelisted. So what picked it up? Huh, I have no idea. But as you can see, it takes quite a lot of time to fill this up with mana. I could probably just upgrade this to the Gaia mana spreader once we fight the Gaia boss. That would make it go faster. So we'll leave that alone for now, because we can still make the Bones of the Damned while we wait. Just had to make some skulls using our pristine matter, and I did not want to place that. That's the output hatch. So if we place all of this inside, it eats it completely fast, and it'll produce the Bones of the Damned. At least it's supposed to. It's kind of going slow. Okay, because it is slow. It takes 900 ticks. Well, in the time it took me to make the skulls, I'm guessing this is done. And it is. So we just need to hit it with a piece of living rock. Throw that here. And this auto-clicked it. Nice. Give me my runes back. And now we have one highly irradiated magical core. What is this? That's going to come later, I'm sure. So now we just need a block of uranium, the Bones of the Damned, dark pearl block, miasma surface, and 1 demonic slate to produce the radioactive magical portal block. Then we just need the key. So now let's come over here. It should be done. Yep. Our Bones of the Damned, fresh from the machine. Now we just need to put it all together to make the block, and we need the idol, which I think it says in here. Done with darkness. Yep, that block and this one. And then to make the Midnight Idol... Oh right, we still have to do the Root of all Evil to get the Illager's Ultimate Sin. Which shouldn't be that difficult. Do I have the rest of this? Cook Stinger, Rue Crystal, Nagrelite, Deceitful Snapper. I don't think I have Snapper, and I think Snapper is the fish. That's not underground. Hunter, Crystal Bug, Nova Stinger, Snapper, found in the Deceitful Bogs. Okay, so I just need to fight a couple of these to get those items, and we're good to go. So we're going to very quickly defeat the Illagers real quick. Put in the key in there, get us the Root of all Evil, eat this Emerald Apple to get regen, and a bunch of other buffs. Oh, I forgot, we can't fly when we're in this. Okay, that... completely forgot about that. I was like, why can't I fly? I'm just jumping. And there we go. All done. And more hearts for my automated suffering. One root of all evil. Now we can take this, and I just need to get the deceitful snapper, and we should be good. Oh, and the stinger eggs. And in case you didn't know, you can find the rue crystals deep underground, like so, and the stingers... Okay, well there's stinger egg. I can hear a stinger somewhere, I don't see it though. So we should be able to harvest some egg. Oh, a little stinger comes out. I can't hit him though. Oh, the more you mine it, the more they come out. Cool. Okay, their hitbox is really tiny. That's why it's so difficult. There we go. One stinger egg, so we can make the cook stinger. We have the Veiled Rifter Eye, Nagrolite. You also mine Nagrolite, as you can see. There's Tenebraum, there's Ebonite. Nagrolite is somewhere around here. Gonna grab some of this real quick. Uh-oh, forgot about these guys. They tend to spawn where the red stuff is, so you gotta be a little careful. But they do drop geodes, which is also needed to craft the runes. In case you were wondering where you get those. Because I sure was when I was first doing this. 2 rue crystals. So now we have that. Stinger egg, cook it. We have the stag, we have the root of all evil. I need a deceitful snapper from the bog. Okay, here's some bodies of water. Let's see if we can find a snapper. Not seeing one, but they do spawn in the water. It's just a shame they're so small. Is that one? No. I could head to my water source, because that one's very big, which would probably increase the chances of seeing a snapper. Alright, these ones are bigger. Let's see if we can find a snapper. Snapper? I hardly know her. There we go. One deceitful snapper. And that should be everything to make the Midnight Idol. And then we just have to go ahead and make the radioactive magical portal block and open the portal to the next simulation. So come to the redstone furnace, cook the egg, cook the raw stag, and we just need the uncooked deceitful snapper. Come over here. Now we should be able to make this guy one radioactive magical portal block, and now craft ourselves one Midnight Idol. So now if we come to this portal over here and break the block, we can activate the next simulation. I wonder, is there anything about this? Is there anything that we're not doing? Nope. We just gotta go to the next one. Welcome to simulation number 5, the Mineral Quarry simulation. Osmium, more osmium, even more osmium. Wow. Never seen so much osmium in one place. What is that, salt from mechanism? Yeah, this is like the mechanism area. And what is this liquid? Let's see, do I have a bucket on me? I do. What is this liquid? Deep substrate water. Take it, mix it in the vat to make nutrient distillation. Take that to make Dew of the Void and subterranean nutrient distillation. And use that to make hyper nutritious worm milk. Interesting. Let's open the quest book and see what we got. The Mineral Quarry. After finding the Midnight Pocket Dimension, we started developing our own Pocket Dimension tech. We have now applied it and created a Pocket Dimension we call the Mineral Quarry. The goal of this simulation is to reach new technological strides. Once these strides have been made, you can craft a nanobot kit to assemble the upper area of the portal hub. Ender IO, a stellar grade component, mechanism. Didn't I make this already? I think I did. Oh, yeah, we already did make that. Robots. Yeah, didn't I already make this thing? I did, so we gotta make more of them. And by completing that simulation, we're rewarded with 1 Combat Simulation Completion Trophy, 8 Resonant Conversion Kits, and 4 Sparks from Britannia. Pretty nice. I love the Sparks, and they're pretty expensive to craft, mostly because making resonating gems was extremely annoying, and I needed them to get mending on all my armor, but I do appreciate the resonant conversion kits. These are very nice. It's going to save you a lot of resources. Now, first things first, I'm going to set a waypoint to the portal so we don't get lost. Portal. And then the quest book mentioned that there are some towers that look like that aren't supposed to be here and that we shouldn't go near them or read the messages inscribed upon them. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. All hail, Sanguis Nihil. All hail, Sanguis Nihil. Voidstone. Dark ineffable glass. Sanguis Nihil, black as the darkest night, but fret not, we do not fear the dark. Our salvation, Sanguis Nihil, praise thee in your I think that's supposed to read, is it infine or is it supposed to be infinite? You will provide. We have been lost for so long, drifting, resourceless, waning, hollow, meek. They are our last hope. Morals are now secondary. When greatness is once again within our reach, all hail Sanguis Nihil. And we get a bunch of demonic slates, love that, more nagrolite, terra steel, and uranium. Awesome. Then I think you do need this voidstone for stuff. Voidstone. Yeah, to make dark steel ingots, you need this voidstone. So I'm going to harvest the whole tower. Yeah, and it's all voidstone. So I can't excavate the whole thing since it's technically different because of chisel. But using chisel, we can just fix it all back into the regular voidstone. And then use it to craft our Ender IO electrical steel. Now then, what do we actually have to do in this simulation to get to the nanobot? Silicon production. I hope you're not yet tired of making plastic-like materials. Oh boy. I like where this is going. The next one is called silicon, and it's made by heating up semi-liquefied sand goop in a refinery that is at least 1901 Celsius degrees. To get this underway, you need a refinery that is 2 blocks tall. It needs to be connected to at least 1 vortex tube. However, the vortex tube needs at least 20 bars of pressure to produce the kind of heat we're looking for. The molten silica is then cooled and distilled into silicon and liquefacted coal. You should also keep all of these softened quicklime, which is a byproduct. It will be essential later. Then, using the silicon, you can unlock new alloyed metals that will allow you to construct a new tier of chassis, the industrial machine chassis. And the new alloys will unlock a few mechanism machines, but for anything a bit more advanced, we'll need a superheated frame. Getting set up with the metallurgic infuser and the enrichment chamber at this point will not hurt. Okay, I like where this is going. I'm a fan of mechanism. And then we get Wyrm milk, Wyrm ascension, mass smelting, superheated frames, splitting the atom, ender crystals, venerated world worms, a glorious HDPE, and a very dense metal. So we have a lot of stuff to work on. I'm going to bookmark the NAU01 nanobot kit and get rid of the other stuff. When used, assembles a 15 by 15 area above the portal hub. Make sure the area is clear or it will override your buildings. Then we need atomic alloy, steel, energy tablets, refined obsidian. Okay, pretty standard stuff. And now we're going to finally use those worms that I've been seeing. Wyrm. Why can't I search it? It should be there. World worms are majestic beings that, when trained properly, tunnel deep into the ground to retrieve ores. In the past, we just let them access the deep depths of our own planet to find ores we normally don't get to, but since we found pocket dimensions, we can train them to go there instead. Make a trans-dimensional worm burrow out of voidstone, dark steel, ritual stone, steel fence, consecrated soil, and triple compressed cobblestone. And they drink worm milk. Gotcha. So, funny enough, I came over to our setup over here and realized I ran out of oil. So I had to go back into the third simulation, find a bigger spot of oil, and then move over the tank and the pump so we can repump it. And then I added a advanced liquid compressor over here. That way we can really crank up the heat of the refinery to break down oil a lot faster. And it's working out pretty well. Now then, for the relevant part, you have to come over here, where I added the system to turn our sand into silicon. And it's honestly not that difficult to build. It's really simple. So I connected it to our AE network, and I have a export bus sending sand into this magma crucible. The sand is broken down into semi-liquefied sand goop. The sand goop then goes into the refinery and is broken down into molten silica and softened quicklime. The quicklime is getting stored in this portable tank, and then the silica is going into this fractioning steel to produce our silica, and then the excess liquefied coal is going into this portable tank. So now we're producing silicon. Pretty nice. Something that was an issue though was the advanced liquid compressor. I completely forgot how hot they get when you load them up with speed upgrades. So if you want to do this yourself, it seems like you can get a pretty good temperature just with 5 speed upgrades and a single compressor. You just have to add a lot of heat sinks. Now, based on the temperature of these ones in the back, this might be overkill, but that is because I added the heat sinks when this was at 10 speed upgrades. And funny enough, if you just fill a liquid compressor with 10 speed upgrades, I'm pretty sure it gets so hot you can just run the refinery off of the latent heat the compressor creates. You don't even need the vortex tube. It's just really inefficient, because the thing about pneumatic craft, and the advanced ones specifically, is that they have an efficiency based on how hot the machine is. So if the machine gets over 50 degrees Celsius, you start losing efficiency. So with 10 speed upgrades and 0 heat sinks, this advanced liquid compressor hit like 6,000 degrees Celsius at an efficiency of 0, which essentially means it turns off. It can't function anymore, it's too hot. So you have to add the heat sinks. I brought it down to 5 to get it to a manageable amount of, pressure production. Then I added some more heat sinks on the cold side over here to get it to the temperature I needed. And then I remembered, oh wait, I need to block off sides of the refinery so it actually can get up to heat, because my issue was I couldn't get it to the heat required, and that was because I forgot to place blocks around it, as it was losing heat to the air that was surrounding it. And now it's working. Now, I'm not sure what we're going to be doing with the excess liquefied coal that really only seems to be having uses as Liquefied coal really is only useful for making tar and naphtha, and then naphtha is only useful for making sulfur and refined fuel. And then refined fuel is a fuel, I'm just not sure what we're going to be using it in. I don't know if there's a generator we can use it in. I don't believe Thermal Foundation has any generators in this pack we could use it in. So I'm not sure if that's going to come up like later or if there's something we can use it for. But this excess softened quicklime is going to be used later on. If we search it up, quicklime, as this is going to be thrown into the vat with life essence marrow and calcified limestone to make our pure calcium, which we're going to use to make our nutritious worm milk and shimmering crystalline, which will come later. But now that we have silicon, we should be able to make these new alloyed metals. So how do we turn our silicon into these? Infinity bimetal gear, electrical steel. Oh, okay. So you take steel and combine it with silicon, and I could have just clicked U on this. Oh, that's really it. So silicon and steel makes electrical steel. We also need it to make a mastery token for the mineral quarry. And then the electrical steel is going to be used to craft all of the Ender IO stuff. Okay, that makes sense. So we can just leave that running essentially forever while it generates silicon, so we can actually start going deeper into Ender IO and figuring out what we need to do next. So first things first, we're going to need quite a lot of osmium. And wow, that was 60? I mined one thing. How much is this going to be? Okay, that's way easier than I thought it was going to be. So there's our osmium, and is there anything else we need to mine out of this dimension? Minerals and ores, osmium, salt, and deep substrate. And what is deep substrate for? Deep substrate is for fine calthrite coating, which is used to make compacted crystal chunks, empty radiation containers, and subterranean nutrient distillation, which is for the hypernutritious worm milk. So we don't need it yet, we just need the osmium. So I can make my machines. First machine done, the infuser. Now with this, we can make basic control circuits, which will take advanced PCBs. I swear, the crafting chains are just growing longer and longer with each new simulation. But then we'll be able to make the enrichment chamber, and using this, what are we going to use this for? We can turn plastic into plastic. Wow! Okay, no, what is important about this? There's nothing in particular, so I guess the main point is just that we need to be able to make like this like compressed redstone in order to make basic control circuits because these are important for the other stuff. Dense neutron collider. Interesting. And we're using spatial components for that. That's funny. I never use spatial components for anything. And add his brother right next to him, and then we'll automate these later. Mechanism machines are way easier to automate just because you can throw in a bunch of speed upgrades and they just run really fast. And actually, I wonder, when do we get the mechanism? Are the factory upgrades in here? They are. And then that's basic control circuit, and they're not nerfed in any way. So the control circuits are just the standard mechanism upgrades. There might be differences in crafting them though. So the ultimate is made the same, the elite is made the same. Okay, they're even all made the same, so it's honestly not too difficult. Oh, okay, so this is one of the recipe changes. So enriched alloy is made from basic capacitors. So what about the other alloys? Alloy. This one is made with diamond, that's standard, and this is compressed obsidian. Okay, so it only changes at the basic level. So mechanism is pretty much the same. That keeps it simple. So now we can focus our effort on worm milk. Yes, yes, it is weird, we know. It will all make sense when you get to experience the wonder and might of the world worms. For now, let us just focus on the task at hand. Worm milk is made out of 4 vital components, 3 of them liquid and 1 solid. Protein, pure calcium, subterranean nutrient, and distillation, or S&D for short. Oh, it's subterranean nutrient distillation is the third one. In addition, you need a metric shit ton of rich slag. You might currently be short on your rich slag supply, but after you have your very own world worm, you won't be. Okay, I'm hoping... was there something I missed? Do the... rich slag? How does the worm turn into rich slag? I'm not making the connection here. The new alloys you constructed from silicon have enabled you to make the vat. Okay. The vat can create a variety of new liquids made by distilling. Okay, so this is where the quicklime comes in. That's how we make the pure calcium. We make protein from the protein reactor, so we have to supply it with some kind of meat and flesh, which fish is pretty easy. And the subterranean nutrient distillation is a multi-stage vat process. Take the mineral-rich water in the quarry pocket dimension, add dragon nest and mushrooms. Dragon nest? Then infuse it with fine calthrite coating and alien subterranean dust to turn it into S&D. Alien subterranean dust is made from the rue crystals you found in the midnight pocket dimension infused with resonant ender. Mixing these 3 together is no small feat, you need a multi-block for that. The dark steel fluid mixer, which will take dark steel blocks. Pull up Schematica to see the bill of materials. We have listed the important ones at the top of the page. Let me take a look at this. Cryogenic, dark steel fluid mixer, done. Materials. A tank 2 from X-Tones, a tank 1 from X-Tones, machine controller input hatch, hardened platinum glass, output hatch, input 3 fluid input hatches, energy input, and 4 dark steel blocks. Okay, that is interesting. You have to use X-Tones for this. It means you have to go back into the combat simulation just to harvest that. But for now, we gotta figure out, and let me move this stuff. I'm still not sure how we get the rich slag though. That part doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so I guess that's what you're supposed to do. We're gonna use all the redstone the world worm digs up to make cinnabar, then use that cinnabar in the induction smelter to make the rich slag. And then that should pay for itself, because then we need 32 rich slag for 1 bucket of the worm milk. And then each time we do this, he needs to drink 5 millibuckets. Wait, 20 ticks you say? Okay, this is broken. Okay, we're definitely gonna have a ton of rich slag. So it drinks 5 millibuckets every second to produce stacks of ores with varying degrees of chance. The lowest being aluminum at 5%, but that's insane. So every 2 seconds, we can make a stack of redstone ore. This is telling me we're gonna have to upgrade our auto smelting setup to something much greater than what we currently have. And there we go, our first bucket and a half of pure calcium. This took a little bit of brainstorming, but I was able to figure it out. So to make pure calcium, we have to mix softened quicklime, life essence marrow, and calcified limestone in the vat. We can already produce softened quicklime from where we make silicon. So I use the ender tank to teleport it over here, and it gets pulled in. We're going to have to automate the life essence marrow production in the slate ossuary. Luckily it's pretty cheap, as it's just a bone, and bones can be made really cheaply from pristine skeleton matter, so that's not going to be an issue. But calcified limestone was a little bit of a puzzle, because you have to use an igneous extruder to generate limestone for free. It just takes water, and we can generate free water. I have the limestone get pushed into this mechanical user. It places the limestone, and then this user needs bone meal to turn the limestone into, what is it called? Calcified limestone. So I need to make, what's the word? I need to set up another one of these, our simulation chambers, for skeletons. Where's my skeleton matter? I thought I had a pristine one. Where did I leave it? Not in there, you're the illager. Where did I leave the skeleton? Unless I put it in here? No, I didn't put it in there. What happened to my skeleton one? Anyways, then we can take the skeleton matter to make a bunch of bones, and then take these bones and just convert these into bone meal, because one bone is 3 bone meal, so that's extremely cheap. Have the bone meal get thrown into this mechanical user, where it turns the limestone into calcified limestone, and then on the back here, I have a scanner set to calcified limestone that sends a signal, so whenever it sees the calcified limestone, this mechanical miner breaks it and it gets pulled back into the vat. So now we can make pure calcium. So that's one of the 3 done. Next, I think we're going to be doing protein. Protein is pretty easy. This is just a 1 block thing, and the protein reactor is not that difficult to make. Golden egg. It's just egg and gold ingot. Is that what he meant by dragons? I'm not actually sure. Don't quite remember what he meant by dragons. Okay, so protein is finished. Protein is probably the easiest of the bunch. We're going to get 2 buckets of protein. We could make it go a little bit faster, because the thing about protein reactors is that they produce more protein if they have every slot inside with a different piece of protein. So because the fisher can produce 3 types of fish, raw fish, salmon, and pufferfish, we do get up to like 25%, or I think it's like 22.5% efficiency, which is not bad. Eventually this will fill with raw fish, and then this should increase the efficiency a little bit, I think. I'm not actually sure. But regardless, we're producing liquid protein, which is the second fluid of our trifecta protein. And we need 1 bucket. We need 3 buckets of protein, so honestly we might need to amp up the production of protein. Now we just need to work on subterranean nutrient distillation, which is nutrient distillation, fine calthrite coating, and alien subterranean dust in the vat. But then nutrient distillation is deep substrate water, dragon's nest, and mushroom. And what is dragon's nest? It's from midnight. So I guess we have to find this, and it can only be grown in the garden cloche when planted on midnight mycelium. So it is renewable, along with the mushrooms. Dragon's nest, where ye be? Is that it? Looks like it. Dragon's nest. Perfect. This stuff is a little bit rare from what I noticed, so it's a good thing we can grow it in the garden cloche. So I'm going to grab a couple of these just to kickstart the production. Because I went around here, I went like this whole area and couldn't find any. But it does look like it grows in these shadow root trees, so maybe that's just like where I needed to look. Because I did not see them anywhere else. So now we have that, so now we can take these, regrow it. Now we need to mix it with mushrooms and deep substrate water, and that'll make the nutrient distillation. And you gotta love it, the return of the water wheel. It never gets old. This time we're powering a fluid pump and pumping it into an ender tank so we can teleport the substrate back to the base. And now that it's all put together, deep substrate, dragon's nest, and mushroom to make nutrient distillation. Now we just have to add the nutrient distillation into another vat and mix it with fine calthrite coating and alien subterranean dust to make the subterranean nutrient distillation. Oh my god. This is the longest step. But then alien substrate and fine calthrite. Fine calthrite is deep substrate ore. What is foliated calcite? I'm clicking it, it's not doing anything. Oh, I'm guessing this happens when you break it. That's why it says yield can be increased using Silk Touch or Fortune. So we need to find some deep substrate ore, turn that into the fine calthrite coating. Then we need to get the alien subterranean dust, which is fine rue crystal dust and resonant ender. Okay, luckily it's a very small amount of resonant ender, so that's not a problem. But it's a 4:1 ratio of the crystal. But we can grow the crystal in a garden cloche on rue rock. So that's not too bad. Okay, so now we have the garden cloche growing rue crystals. The rue crystals get pulverized into rue dust. The rue dust gets combined with resonant ender to make alien subterranean dust. That gets all mixed together to make subterranean nutrient distillation. And now we need to combine SND with our protein and the pure calcium with the rich slag, and we can finally produce, what is it called? Subterranean nutrient distillation. Okay, now we need to build the dark steel fluid mixer, and then we can make the hyper nutritious worm milk. I sound like a crazy person. Okay, so now use schematica, cryogenic, the dark steel fluid mixer. We're gonna place it in like the middle of all the machines. So this is that a good spot? It could be a little closer to the right, which I can adjust like that. Okay, so we're gonna move it that way. Yep, right there is good. Printer on. Place all the blocks. Unload. Dark steel mixer is ready to go. This does need power. So we're going to connect this to our power just by running conduit. And I'm honestly surprised that our thermoelectric generator is able to keep up with literally every single machine I've been adding. I don't think we've had like a reduction in power production, like at all. Okay, so now we just have to take, there's energy input, this is fluid output, so the worm milk comes out of here. 1, 2, 3, item. Okay, so rich slag goes in there, and then we're going to connect it all. Actually, I only need to connect the rich slag to this part, actually. The rest will just be connected here. I'm going to connect AE to all of this in the back so it can run fully automatically. Rich slag goes in there. Now we need to grab my other conduit. I'm going to need more fluid conduits, because now we have to connect all of these fluids into the mixer to make the worm milk. So now all of it is connected. Missing input item. Oh, it already ate it, that's why. We have produced 1 bucket of hyper nutritious worm milk. My god, hyper nutritious. Okay, so to make this, we're gonna need a lot more rich slag. Wait, I thought I put in a stack of this. 1 bucket. 1 bucket. I could have swore I put in 1 stack. Did I only put half a stack in there? Huh. Regardless though, it works. Now I did go ahead and use the ender fluid conduit for all of this, just because it makes cable management easier. It lets you push fluids all in 1 tank, and then I just filtered it all on the back here using the basic fluid filters to get it all in the right tank. You know, it would be cool if you could see the liquid inside, but I don't think that's possible with the modular machines. Regardless though, now we have access to hyper nutritious worm milk, and that means we can ascend some worms and do some worm mining. But at this point, this episode has gone on quite long enough. I'm your host, the worm farmer, Hamas28, and I'll see you all next time.